So, more than 3 million cases per year now. I agree with the pandemic. It's getting everyone to panic. If you have BPD, everything feels unsafe. Your relationships, your moods, your thinking, your behavior, even your identity. Your self-image, your goals, and even your likes and dislikes may change frequently in ways that feel confusing and unclear. People with BPD tend to be extremely sensitive. Some describe it as like having exposed nerve ending. Small things can trigger intense reactions, and once upset, you have trouble calming down. It's easy to understand how this emotional validity and inability to self-soothe leads to relationships, turmoil, and impulsive, even reckless behavior. When you're in the throes of overwhelming emotions, you're unable to think straight or stay grounded. You may say hurtful things or act out in dangerous or inappropriate ways that make you feel guilty or ashamed afterwards. It's a painful cycle that can feel impossible to escape, but it's not. There are effective coping skills that can help you feel better and back in control of your thoughts, even in your feelings and your actions. In the past, mental health professionals found it difficult even to treat BPD, but we now have so much more information. BPD is treatable. In fact, the long-term prognosis for BPD is even better than those for like depression and bipolar disorder. However, it requires a specialized approach. The bottom line is that most people with BPD can and do better, and they do so fairly rapidly with the right treatment and support. Healing is a matter of breaking the dysfunctional patterns of thinking, feeling, and behaving that are causing you the distress. It's not easy to change lifelong habits. Choosing to pause, reflect, and then act in new ways will feel unnatural and uncomfortable at first, but with time you'll form new habits that help you maintain your emotional balance and stay in control. I would describe, I'll give you one client conversation where they were talking about describing a romantic relationship as intense but unstable, and saying the way I feel about the people in my life can dramatically change from one moment to the next, and I didn't always understand why. So then I would ask, do you often do things that you know are dangerous or unhealthy, such as driving recklessly, having unsafe sex, binge drinking, using drugs, or going on spending sprees? Yes, the response was, when I'm feeling insecure in a relationship, I tend to lash out or make impulsive gestures to keep the other person close. Of course, you need a mental health professional to make an official diagnosis, remember, but as BPD can be easily confused with other issues. For now, I hope that some of this, though, can help with calming your inner emotional storm and learning to control self-damaging impulses even. BPD manifests in many different ways, but for the purposes of diagnosis, you must show signs of at least 5 of the symptoms. Furthermore, the symptoms must be lifelong standing, like starting in adolescence, and impact many areas of your life. Number 1, fear of abandonment. Number 2, unstable relationships. Number 3, unclear or shifting self-image. Number 4, impulsive, self-destructive behaviors. Number 5, self-harm. Number 6, extreme emotional swings. Number 7, chronic feelings of emptiness. Number 8, explosive anger. Number 9, feeling suspicious or out of touch with reality. And BPD is rarely diagnosed on its own. Common co-occurring disorders include depression or bipolar disorder, substance abuse, eating disorders, anxiety disorders. When BPD is successfully treated, though, the other disorders are often improved too. But the reverse isn't always true. For example, you may successfully treat symptoms of your depression and still struggle with BPD. So also many professionals believe BPD is also caused by a combination of your inherited as well as internal biological factors and always external environmental factors, such as even traumatic also experiences in your childhood. There are many complex things happening in the BPD brain, and researchers are still untangling what it all means. But in essence, if you have BPD, your brain is on high alert. Things feel more scary and stressful to you than they do to other people. Your fight or flight switch is easily tripped, and once it's on, it hijacks your rational brain, triggering primitive survival instincts that aren't always appropriate to the situation at hand. This may make it sound as if there's nothing you can do. After all, what can you do if your brain is different? But the truth is that you can change your brain. Every time you practice a new coping response or self-soothing technique, you are creating new neural pathways. Some treatments, such as mindfulness, is understanding when psychologists talk about, personality. They're actually referring to the patterns of thinking, feeling, and behaving that make each of us unique. No one acts exactly the same all the time, but we do tend to interact and engage with the world in fairly consistent ways. This is why people are often described as shy, outgoing, meticulous, fun-loving, and so on. There are elements of personality. Because personality is so intrinsically connected to identity, the term personality disorder it might leave you feeling like there's something fundamentally wrong with who you are, but a personality disorder is not a character judgment. In clinical terms, personality disorder means that your patterns of relating to the world only is significantly different from the norm. In other words, you don't act in ways that most people expect. This causes consistent problems for you in many areas of your life, such as your relationships, career, and your feelings about yourself and others. But most importantly, these patterns can be changed. 3 keys to coping with BPD. Number 1, calm the emotional storm. Number 3, learn to control impulsivity and tolerating distress. Number 3, improve your interpersonal skills. Then there are mindfulness techniques that begin by simply experiencing your feelings, judgments, or without judgment for yourself, for sure, or critics, even outside. Let go of the past and the future and focus exclusively on the present moment. Start by observing your emotions as if from the outside. Watch as they come and go. It helps to imagine them like ocean waves. Focus on the physical sensations that accompany your emotions. Tell yourself that if you accept what you're feeling right now, do something that stimulates one or more of your senses, like touch. If you're not feeling enough, try hot or cold running water over your hands or gripping objects tightly. Taste. If you're feeling empty or numb, try sucking on strong flavored candies or slowly eat something with an intense flavor like salt and vinegar chips. Smell. Light a fragrant candle or spritz your favorite perfume. Dropping my notes. Sight. Focus on an image that captures your attention. Sound. Try listening to loud music, ringing a buzzer, or blowing a whistle when you need a jolt. Reduce your emotional vulnerability. You're more likely to experience negative emotions when you're run down and under stress. That's why it's very important to take care of your physical and mental well-being. Take care of yourself by avoiding mood-altering drugs. Eat a well-balanced, nutritious diet. Get plenty of quality sleep. Exercise regularly. Minimize stress. Practice relaxation techniques. Learn to control impulsivity. In the heat of the moment, you're so desperate for relief that you'll do anything, including things you know you shouldn't. This also may lead to commit serious acts. So it may even feel like you don't have a choice. Moving from being out of control of your behavior to being in control. It is important to recognize that these impulsive behaviors serve a purpose. They are coping mechanisms for dealing with distress. They make you feel better, even if just for a brief moment. Regaining control of your behavior starts with learning to tolerate distress. It's the key to changing the destructive patterns of BPD. When you have the urge to act out, instead of reacting to difficult emotions with self-destructive patterns of press pause when you have the urge to act out. Instead of reacting to difficult emotions with self-destructive behaviors, you will learn to ride them out while remaining in control of the experience. Get in touch with your emotions. Live with emotional intensity. Manage your unpleasant or threatening feelings. Stay calm and focused, even in upsetting situations. You can begin to teach yourself how to move from being emotionally shut down to experience your emotions fully. This allows you to experience the full range of positive emotions, such as joy, peace, and fulfillment, that are also cut off when you attempt to avoid negative feelings. Once the fight or flight response is triggered, there is no way to think yourself calm. Instead of focusing on your thoughts, focus on what you're feeling in your body. Grounding exercises are simple and quick ways to put the brakes on impulsivity, calm down, and regain control. It can make a big difference in just a few short minutes. If your attempts to calm down aren't working and you're starting to feel overwhelmed by destructive urges, distracting yourself may help. All you need is something to captivate your focus long enough for the negative impulse to go away. Anything that draws your attention can work, but distraction is most effective when the activity is also soothing. Watch TV. Do something you enjoy that keeps you busy. Throw yourself into your work. Get active. Call a friend. Improve your interpersonal skills. Close your eyes. Check your assumptions. Stop to consider the different possibilities. Ask the person to clarify their intentions. Put a stop to projection. Do you have a tendency to take your negative feelings and project them out on other people? Do you lash out at others when you're feeling bad yourself? Does feedback or constructive criticism feel like a personal attack? To fight projection, you'll need to learn to apply the brakes, just like you did to curb your impulsive behaviors. Ask yourself these 3 questions. Number 1, am I upset with myself? Number 2, am I feeling ashamed or afraid? Number 3, am I worried about being abandoned? Take responsibility for your role that you play in all of your relationships. Ask yourself how your actions might contribute to problems. How do your words and behaviors make your loved ones feel? Are you falling into the trap of seeing the other person as either all good or all bad? Are you making as you make an effort to put yourself in other people's shoes, give them the benefit of the doubt and reduce your defensiveness. You'll start to notice a difference in the quality of your relationships. Finally, understand the importance of finding the right therapist. The support and guidance of a qualified therapist can make a huge difference in BPD treatment and recovery. Therapy may serve as a safe space when you can start working through your relationship and trust issues and try on new coping techniques. Then try to stick it out with your therapist and allow the relationship to grow. And keep in mind that change, by its very nature, is uncomfortable. If you don't ever feel uncomfortable in therapy, you are probably not progressing. Don't count on medications for a cure. This doesn't mean that medication cannot be never helpful, especially if you suffer from co-occurring problems such as depression or anxiety, but it is not a cure itself. Therapy is much more effective. However, your doctor, in an attempt to help you ease the symptoms, may consider medication if you have been diagnosed with BPD and depression or bipolar disorder. You may have reasons to suffer from panic attacks or severe anxiety, but if you begin hallucinating or having bizarre or paranoid thoughts, or if you're feeling suicidal or at risk of hurting yourself or others, please reach out and ask for help immediately. Hope this helps. Have a great day, guys. Bye.